Hello again, everyone. As you can see, I finished installing the rockers, and now I've decided it's time to install the intake manifold. Now I'm going to be installing the intake manifold without the carburetor on it, but you can install it with the carburetor still attached to the manifold, but it's a lot easier this way. Now I have the manifold kit here. This is how it will come. This is a Velcro kit. It's a little hard to see right now on camera, but once I get it out of the package, I'll be able to show you a little easier. Now, if you may have noticed just by that quick showing there, that this engine uses what I call a turkey pan style intake, and it's basically just a big metal gasket. I don't really care for these types of gaskets, but it's just what this engine uses. So we're going to begin by cleaning off the mating surface on the cylinder heads. Which I've already done. Next thing you want is your RTV that comes in the kit. And the two end seals. There's front and rear. Oops. And if you follow the instructions, it'll tell you to put a little dab where the gasket meets the cylinder, where the cylinder head, the block, and the gasket will meet. So just put a small dab in each corner. I'm not real sure if it's telling you to do this with these end seals or what, but now they have these little locators here. Just stick them in there. And then it just kind of fits underneath the cylinder head. The end of the seal does. And the front one is the wider one. So put that one on. Next, put the rear one. You want to make sure that little corner goes underneath the cylinder head. There we go. Perfect. Okay, now that that's on, go back to our instructions here. And it tells you to apply about an 1/8 inch bead on the underside of the gasket around each intake port. And on the cylinder head side, do it around each water port. So I'm just going to set our gasket aside here. Now unfortunately this thing's a little bent up, so I might have to do some bending. So just use a small amount around each water port. You don't want to go crazy with it. Okay, now that you have the sealer around the water ports, go ahead and use the sealer around each intake port on the bottom side. Like I said, unfortunately this gasket's bent a little bit, but this whole kit was $30, so it's worth just bending back out if you can. I've decided to do the whole entire process from start to finish on this. It may be a slightly lengthy video, but it'll show you the whole process. It's not hard to do, but okay, now that all of our intake ports have been coated, put the cap back on our RTV here. Excuse me. Now I'm just grabbing this gasket by the exhaust crossover passages because there's no sealer that goes there. Like I said, this thing's all bent up, so these things can be a pain in the butt sometimes. Now you'll notice that these holes, they didn't deburr them. They fit right in a drilled hole in the head. So it's kind of like a locator. Persuade this one a little bit more. Doesn't want to seem to go in. It's a little better. If you can, try and get the gasket to sit flat. Make sure your locators are lined up. Excuse me. Next, what you'll do is take your RTV, there we go, and go around each intake port again on the top side. Now I recommend buying another tube of RTV because sometimes you'll run out. Unfortunately, this is messy because I don't have a tip on this to make a smaller bead. Go around the water ports. I think we just may have enough in this tube to do this. Last water port. And that's about it for a tube. You may just have enough to put another dab in each four corners. Maybe not. Maybe have another tube. Okay, now that that's all finished, took a little while. Just gonna grab our intake manifold and the bolts. And I like to grab them through the carburetor holes for the secondaries. It seems to be a nice, good place to handle it. Try and set it down as smooth and evenly as possible. Looks like we need to move forward a little. That's about it there. You want to go around and check and make sure no gaskets are pinching, but all the seals are good, and they appear good. Next, what you'll do is thread in your intake bolts. Now there's some short and some long, some that are studs and some that are just regular. I don't exactly remember the location for the studs. I do remember that since I removed the computer from this car, that I believe it only used one stud for ground instead of 3, I believe it had. So the long ones go in these raised ones. And the shorter ones go in these two and this one here. The long one goes here next to the EGR on that side. Now I'm just starting these, I'm not snugging them, so that's why I'm just working on one side right now. And if you misplace the studs, you can take them back out and swap it later. One goes here. Short one goes in the center. And one more. Okay, now that you got all your bolts started, it's time to reference your book or whatever you have for the torque sequence. Now let me just check this here. Now here in this book, A on the top here is your sequence for an Oldsmobile. It goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So that's the order in which you will tighten them down and torque them. Let me get the torque spec for this. I want to say it's 40 foot-pounds, but I can't recall. Yep, 40 foot-pounds is the torque spec. So do it in a few steps. Until you get to 40, just like you've done everything so far. So I'm going to go over this sequence again. It's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Now, just for the sake of the video being shorter, I'm not going to torque this on camera. But as soon as I'm done with this, we will install the valve covers and the exhaust manifolds. All right, thank you for watching.